News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. America's Independence Day parade in Washington, D.C. has been canceled due to extreme heat as a searing heat dome continues hovering over the East Coast. Bloomberg's Jeff Mason is sweating it out in our nation's capital now, ahead of President Trump's big speech tonight at the National Mall.
There may be some people who decide not to show up tonight because of the heat, but fireworks are still on and the president is still intending to give a speech tonight. In fact, he quipped a little earlier this week that he planned to give a long one just to prove that he could. Despite the heat. So be prepared. President Trump is not going to stay in the air conditioning. He is going to head out to the mall this evening to make remarks.
That's our Jeff Mason on Bloomberg this weekend. Last night, the president spoke at Mount Rushmore. They had fireworks there despite drought and wildfire warnings. The extreme heat's also creating record power demand now on the largest U.S. grid. We get more on that from Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi.
PJM Interconnection, a power grid serving 67 million people across 13 states from D.C. to Chicago, said demand on July 2nd likely surpassed the previous record of 165.563 gigawatts set in August 2006. The dangerous heat wave has brought triple-digit temperatures to many American cities. The Great American State Fair, a two-week festival of patriotic-themed events along the National Mall in Washington, closed for several hours Friday amid the heat. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
The body of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is now lying in state at a mosque in Tehran as a week-long funeral ceremony begins. Iranian officials say they expect as many as 20 million people to participate in the event and mourn Khamenei, who was killed during the war in late February. Officials say the conflict delayed services. Meantime, peace talks between the U.S. and Iran are on pause, but at least 8 ships attempting to leave the Persian Gulf along the Omani coast have been turned back over the last few days. The Strait of Hormuz is supposed to be open, but officials say that process is still complicated by Iran seeking to assert control over the vital waterway. The fallout from Venezuela's recent earthquakes have now evolved into a major test for acting President Delcy Rodriguez, who's scrambling to prevent the humanitarian disaster from becoming a political one. Her 180-day mandate as interim leader expires today, a day after she defended her government's relief efforts. Boeing is said to be making progress now on issues that have delayed delivery on Air Force One jets for President Trump. Bloomberg's Nathan Hager reports from Washington.
The Government Accountability Office says the plane maker is getting there when it comes to finishing design work on the modified plane's environmental control system, resolving cabin decompression issues, and hiring and retaining more qualified mechanics. This is all in the agency's latest report on U.S. weapons programs. Boeing is almost 3 years behind schedule delivering the 2 jets that will serve as Air Force One. They're estimated to cost $3.3 billion apiece. In Washington, I'm Nathan Hager, Bloomberg Radio.
Pollsters have been focused on how Americans feel about the state of the country on its 250th birthday. Ashley Koenig's director at the Eagleton Center for Public Interest Polling at Rutgers, and she talked about the latest PBS News NPR Marist poll, which shows the nation's divided about its identity and its future.
We've seen a lot of headlines in the news right now about saying that patriotism has dropped and people aren't proud to be an American anymore, but really the story here is in how the question is being asked by a variety of pollsters in this poll and in other ones. And so we really see that proud to be American number range anywhere from 33% in some polls to 70%.
Rutgers polling expert Ashley Koenig on Bloomberg this weekend. 8 in 10 Americans polled, by the way, say that the U.S. has moved away from its founding principles, yet a majority still think the best days are ahead. Pop culture is trending this Independence Day. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce tied the knot last night in a huge ceremony at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Brittany Spanos covers pop music and teaches a Taylor Swift course at NYU. And she, like many, thought the event was a decoy.
This was a big surprise, but I think this is a very new type of relationship for Taylor where it is very public facing. They go to events together. They do the very celebrity couple things, which she really hasn't ever done with any of her past partners. It's always kind of been a little bit behind the scenes.
This, of course, was anything but. It was a star-studded guest list with about 1,000 people attending. Forbes put the cost of the 2-day celebration at more than $20 million. And tennis star Serena Williams has just dropped out of Wimbledon, withdrawing from her doubles match today with sister Venus due to a right knee injury. She actually got hurt during her singles return earlier in the week. Today on Instagram, the 44-year-old said coming back to compete has been a gift, along with an image of 4 syringes she says were used to drain fluid from her knee. Serena hinted she could play again somewhere else soon. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.